I'm probably a little late on this, mainly because I really don't have a lot of time to talk about a lot of things. For those who don't know, I play video games. I play video games on Twitch, and sometimes I stream to YouTube, sometimes I don't. It's kind of a weird thing to describe, but you can always watch me live on Twitch. Feel free to follow me, and yeah, we'll play some games. Recently, I'm playing Sonic Unleashed, and it just got a PC port by the fans. It's so much fun, and I love playing this game. It's actually my favorite Sonic game of all time. I think it's genuinely the best. But we're not here to talk about that Sonic game. We're here to talk about Sonic CrossWorlds, or Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. It recently had a beta, and I was invited, and I had so much fun playing this game. It was genuinely one of the best racing games or kart racing games I've played in a very long time. Now, it could just be because it's recency bias and it's a Sonic game. Who really knows? But as of me recording this, the beta is over and everyone can publish their feedback for the game, and I really hope to see this game come out soon. Typically, the beta being out pretty much means that it could come out very soon. Maybe by the time the end of summer or summertime, we'll see. That's my prediction, summertime, maybe fall. Overall, let's just talk about some things. It's good. It's a very fun game. It's everything you would want in a Sonic racing game because it brings back transformed vehicles. It brings extreme gear, which honestly is like, let's be honest, 90% of the people playing this game on launch are going to be unlocking extreme gear. And I really hope Sega one day just adds like a portion of just riders content, you know, or just has a game mode where it's just extreme gear. Because while I will say the kart racing itself is fun, a lot of people are going to be here for the extreme gear. Now, I am worried that the extreme gear isn't going to feel as flowy and like loose and free, not like Free Riders, but I am worried it's going to feel a bit stiff like the cars, and I really hope Sega does something with the engine to where extreme gear just feels very different than the cars. So we'll see. Either way, I think it has a really good mix of everything. As a dream wish, I really hope that, you know, we already are getting a lot of Sonic characters. In fact, we'll even get more as DLC. I really hope we get a lot of Sega and like Sega IPs involved. One racing game that I like was Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing. That had a lot of Sega IPs from their franchise, and I thought it was so cool that they did that because it gives people the opportunity to just see these other characters and see their worlds and maybe get an idea or like get an interest in them. I really hope Sega, if you're watching this, it's going to be labeled feedback. If you're watching this, please consider trying to get as many as your Sega characters in this game as possible. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but that's just something I wish. The game itself is pretty fun, like I mentioned. You know, you have your karts, there's types of karts, there's, you know, acceleration, handling, power, and I believe there was just speed. There was 4 different types of karts, and they had this gadget system where you could customize it even more and give yourself like abilities and like more items throughout the track, or getting a boost if a certain situation happens. That's all really fun. It really brings customization to just an extreme level. Customization, talking about that, you can paint these cars, and it's not just the first color and the secondary color and the tires. You can customize literally like 9 different areas in a single kart, and you can apply so many colors and like types of like materials, like this metal glossier matte. It's just so like good, and I wasn't expecting Sega to go off on these like customization options. And honestly, any game that has this much customization is so like I love it so much. So good job, Sega, there. The tracks themselves, they're pretty good. We got a good handle, or a good amount of them. This game involves, you know, going to other universes or other worlds, so there's going to be some levels that reference other Sonic games, like the Secret Rings levels, and I don't know if it's true, but it seems like there's going to be like Sonic Prime worlds, but I don't really know. Either way, the tracks are fun. I will say sometimes they feel a little short sometimes. Oh, excuse me. The whole gimmick with this game is the second lap of the race is always going to transport you to another world, and depending on who's in first place, they get to choose a world or go with a random one. And then there's also the opportunity for what was it called, some hazard, a bonus event to happen where everyone gets bonus rings or bonus speed panels, something like that. I like that the characters can banter with each other. I heard Shadow talking shit to Zaz, and Knuckles and Sonic can also talk trash. It's so fun. There's emotes you can also use before the race starts, get everyone hyped, and there's definitely going to be a lot of fun with those. And yeah, and there's even stickers you can put on your cars as well. It's really fun. That's all I want to say about the good, the bad, and really everything else about this game is just, and the thing is, it's not even that it's bad, it just needs some help. First thing, oh god, it's so unbalanced. It's kind of fun because it's chaotic and messy, but goddamn, it is so unbalanced. There's this gadget that gives you a teleporter, and you can use that at the last part of the lap, and you could just cut in front of somebody and get first place. In fact, it happened to me, and I'll talk about this later, but the clip, I'll try to find it. It's very blurry, but I use an item and I essentially just get a free pass to first place. And the funny thing is, that's kind of the meta, because this game is so chaotic that the last 50 meters of the race, or last 10 seconds of the race, it's just so chaotic because everyone holds on to their items, and it's just a mess. But it's also fun to see who can get in first, or who can squeeze in. But regardless, it's a little too chaotic. As fun as it is, it needs to get toned down with the item spamming. Some items don't need to be spammed as much. Why does a guy in third place get a monster truck? It doesn't make any sense. Speaking of monster truck is kind of the all-star item in this game. There are other items. I'll talk about items in a minute because they're kind of weird, but it seems like the monster truck is the best item in the game besides the drill wisp. And I feel like this item is what replaced all-star moves from the first Sonic racing game. And I really wish we can actually get unique, all-star moves. It would be fun to see each character have their, unique move that puts them ahead and see how they attack. It just feels like it's not special. Every character can get the monster truck now. It just doesn't feel special. So, Sega, I really hope you consider adding, an all-star ability where everyone gets an ability unique to them. I did mention that the gadgets are a good thing and they're pretty fun. They add customization, but they are also really fucking unbalanced, and they can really decide how a game works. In fact, not just that, the type of car you build and the character you choose can just determine how good you are, and I'm kind of upset about that. I really wish the characters themselves wouldn't factor into how you perform, because it's not I guess there's a skill to driving in real life, but it just sucks that I can just see I don't know, for example, Shadow being the meta in every racing game, so therefore every time you go online it's just everyone racing a Shadow. I really wish there was a way where we could just put on a cosmetic appearance, our car will look this way, but it'll have the stats of this car, because it's if you do that, I promise you, it'll be so much better, depending on what you pick and all. The game had some weird, graphical issues, but this is also a beta, so I'm not really going to say much. It needs to be polished, needs to be ironed out. Some characters, in the backgrounds, were just standing still, and it seemed like they were just static, and I just wish they were more developed, the Chows and the other Sonic characters, animal furry guys. I wish they were more expressive, not just doing the same animation over and over again like a goddamn Madden game. So Sega, that would be cool if you could just give them some unique animations, have some people hold up a banner or a flag that's I love Amy, and the person who's Amy could be hey, they're cheering for me. I don't know. Or have it to where the characters are saying, you got this, Sonic, and maybe that is in the game. I don't know. I just didn't notice it. But yeah, that would be cool. Connections was great for 95% of the time. I pretty much got kicked from the beta I want to say every 20 races I had a crash. I don't really know how that it doesn't really matter about that, because that was the point of this beta, was to also stress test. But as long as the servers get some upgrades, that's good, and that's fine. Now, last thing I want to just say, the items in this game they're kind of fucking ridiculous. It goes into the whole like chaotic nature of this game and how it's so unbalanced. The drill wisp is basically the bullet bill or the bullet from Mario Kart, and all the other items are, there's other items that are very similar to Mario Kart, and I don't want to compare these two games. While they are similar, they're slightly different in a way they play. Now, one thing is kind of like a pet peeve is like, this is now like what, the 4th time Sega has like changed up their items in their racing games, because it's like now you don't know what does what anymore. Now you have to relearn this again. Then there's even some items in this game that essentially does the same thing. Like, why does the laser and the drill and the boost wisp essentially just do the same thing? And the monster truck and the drill are almost the same. And also, why in the game does the magnet item, why is it a trap? When someone picks up a magnet, they assume, oh, like other Sonic games, anything with a magnet means I'm going to like attract nearby rings. In fact, I'm pretty sure that was the symbol in Sonic Riders Zero Gravity. Like, the magnet item just attracted items to you. There probably wasn't a magnet, but that's what you assume is going to happen. But instead, it's a trap. And why is that the case? Because there's already a hazard cone item in the game that does that. It just traps people, but the magnet attracts people. Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. There really isn't really any defense items in this game. I mean, there are, but they're like one-time uses and they're gone. You can't just have a glove and set it behind you for a future attack. Now you have to use your defensive items right as you're about to be attacked. So there is some skill involved to it, but it also just like kind of confuses a lot of people, because it's like, with so much happening on the track, how the fuck are you supposed to know if someone's attacking you or like someone's trying to attack someone else? Also, the defensive items essentially all are the same, except the metal shield actually defends you, and the other one seems like it's like an attack item, but it's in a defense item. It just attacks nearby people. The items are just weird. Like, I really wish Sega would, you know, redesign them, make it more like, hey, this item should do this because it is this. And get rid of some, because there's also so many items to the point where you can't even get some of the items unless you equip a certain gadget. So that would be really cool if Sega could just, you know, revamp the items, balance them, and tone them the fuck down, because holy shit, there's too much item spam in this game. It's a mess. It's also pretty fun. Now, I also don't want to say, like, the game should just be easier, because some would say that the old Sonic racing games can sometimes be too easy because there's not enough, like, action going on. There's just drifting and turning, and you'll get an item every minute. And I don't want them to, like, make the game boring. I just think they need to balance it and make it more fair. That's all I'm asking for. I know this game, I don't want this game to be, like, too easy. I do think there should be some skill involved, but that's just what I think. Overall, I'm really excited to see what comes from this game. I will be buying it day one. As soon as it's available, I will be buying all of the DLC because I do not care. And Sega, please, for the love of God, make a new Sonic Riders game. Please, we need our boy Jet back. I don't care if the story is an hour long. Just give us something.